She goes on to rip on his tax plan. There were tax cuts for billionaires and top corporations, excuse me, and didn't pay much attention to middle-class families. All right, now Stephanie Ruhle knows better. She knows better. She was a business reporter. This is the truth. All income brackets benefited substantially from Trump's tax reforms. However, those who benefited the most were the working and middle class. There was a long article in The Hill that laid out how, according to IRS data, if you look at people's adjusted gross income under Trump, those who made between $15,000 and $50,000 enjoyed an average tax cut of between 16 and 26%. Those who made between $50,000 and $100,000 had a tax cut of 15 to 17% under Trump. Those who made between $100,000 and $500,000 had a tax cut of 11 to 13%. You can see the numbers are going down. The arrow is going down. They're still all getting tax cuts, but they're not as generous the more you make. Those who made over $1 million, less than 6% tax cut. All right, that's fine. I mean, they had more to begin with. I'm sure it wasn't quite as painful. It's not quite as painful for them when they have any sort of, tax adjustment, but they had a tax cut indeed that was, by some estimates, 20% less than the tax cut given to the working class. So these are lies, and they were not brought up. There was no challenge whatsoever. Okay, then Ruhle asks her, all right, let's talk about taxes. Those tax cuts, they expire next year. And there are many people confused saying, I don't know what's going to happen. Are your taxes going to go up? My tax is going to go up? She says, and under a Harris administration, at what income level should someone expect their taxes to go up? And Harris says, anyone making less, first of all, anyone making less than $400,000 a year, your taxes will not go up. Okay. Joe Biden peddled this lie too. And do you know what happened? Taxes did go up for everyone in the form of groceries and gas prices, everything you buy, as you well know, energy, your electric bill. The inflationary spending that these two did, like drunken sailors for the first few years of their presidency, has caused your tax in every corner of your life. So if you believe you weren't taxed by the Biden-Harris administration, if you're making under $400,000, which was a broken promise by Joe Biden, I got a bridge in Brooklyn I'd like to sell you. Then she goes on to say, I'm going to cut taxes actually for 100 million Americans. She's talking about her $6,000 a year child tax credit for young couples with their first year of their child's life. J.D. Vance is proposing a $5,000. It's the difference is not significant. And by the way, that is not something that's going to apply to the vast majority of Americans. Here again, right? So she's being asked a question about income tax. What's going to happen to you? And here she lies about if you're under $400,000, your taxes will not go up. And then she says, I'm going to give you the child tax credit, which is it's like a present, right? I'm going to give you a tax present. So then Stephanie Ruhle asks her a good question. How are you going to pay for that? You can't just give people a tax credit, like the child tax credit, and just pull money off a money tree. It's not how it works. So how are you going to pay for it? She says, expanding that child tax credit that you mentioned. You mentioned housing before, the $25,000 for the first-time homebuyers. Giving that extra money for a first home, same thing. If you can't raise corporate taxes, or if the GOP takes control of the Senate, and she basically means if the GOP takes control of the Senate and if the GOP maintains control of the House, either one of those things will screw your plan because they're not going to help her offer these policies without appropriate spending cuts. That's not what's going to happen. And Stephanie Ruhle's pointing it out. Where do you get the money to do that? All right, that's the question. Where do you get the money to do that? We have this exchange. I have to revise my answer. Maybe this is the worst one. I don't know. There's 3 top contenders for worst bad. You watch it and you tell me. Watch the light bulb go on over Kamala Harris's head when she realizes she has no damn plan for if there's divided government and she can't shove through her agenda. Watch.
Expanding that child tax credit, or you mentioned housing before, giving that extra money for a first home. If you can't raise corporate taxes, or if GOP takes control of the Senate, where do you get the money to do that? Do you still go forward with those plans and borrow?
Well, but we're going to have to raise corporate taxes, and we're going to have to make sure that the biggest corporations and billionaires pay their fair share. That's just it. It's about paying their fair share.
She's an idiot. She's an idiot. She has no idea what she's talking about. I don't know if she understood the question. The question is, what if you cannot get this through in a divided government so that corporations pay more? And the answer is, they just have to pay more. They have to. That's just it. That is just it. She sounds like one of those moronic TikTokers you see. That's just it. She sounds like a 4-year-old. That's her level of understanding. Don't believe any of these promises. She can't do it. She doesn't have a plan to fund it. And to the extent that that was exposed in the MSNBC interview, good on Stephanie Ruhle. Then they go on. Stephanie chimes in. Bill Gates just said this week if he was in charge of taxes, he would have paid more. Okay, great. But how do you find that line to make sure corporations are paying their fair share and they're not leaving our country? Because if you tax them through the eyeballs, they'll leave. Plenty of places where you can make widgets. Doesn't have to be in the United States. And then we get a lecture on, I work with a lot of CEOs. I've spent a lot of time with CEOs. Sure, Jan. I'm going to tell you that business leaders who are actually part of the engine of America's economy agree that people should pay their fair share. Oh my, I can't. I can't. With the filler. I can't. So much filler. They also agree that we should look at a plan, when we look at a plan such as mine, about investing in the middle class, investing in new industries, bringing down costs. What is she saying? This is empty calories. Investing in entrepreneurs like small businesses, that the overall economy is stronger and everyone benefits. She said nothing. Part of my plan for the economy is investing in new industries in a way that we have active partnership with the private sector. I have worked with the private sector my entire career. Okay, she's been in government her entire career. I can't, all the rest goes on like that. I'm not going to make you go through it the way I had to last night. And then she ends with, so you can take a nice vacation from time to time. She said nothing about how you avoid taxing the corporations through the eyeballs to the point where they run, which is a real thing. Just ask New York City, where this exact thing is underway. Ask California, where this exact thing has been underway. Okay. Then we move on to my favorite. This is my favorite. All right, this is truly my favorite part. This is the part I was listening on SiriusXM last night, and I was like, what? As Sarah, my hairstylist, would say, what? I didn't get it. Okay, Stephanie Ruhle. One of the main problems, because they were talking about buying a home, all right? And Ruhle's saying, for people who want to buy a home, yeah, it'd be great to get that $25,000 kicker, only first-time home buyers. But it's not just affording a home. We don't have enough homes in this country. Absolutely right, says Kamala Ruhle. And one of the main problems are regulations and rules, strict rules at a local level. How do the feds cut through all that red tape and help the locals solve housing problems? That's actually a good question. How do they? Watch this.
How does the federal government cut through all that red tape and get down to, the suburbs of Pittsburgh and say, we're going to have to build some affordable housing here?
Part of my goal and the plan would be to create 3 million new housing units for rent and for ownership by the end of my first term. It includes also what we must do to cut red tape. You're absolutely right. I know that we have to reduce the red tape and speed up what we need to do around building. Some of the work is going to be through what we do in terms of giving benefits and assistance to state and local governments around transit dollars and looking holistically at the connection between that and housing and looking holistically at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state governments to actually engage in planning in a holistic manner that includes prioritizing affordable housing for working people.
Okay. So how are we going to cut through the red tape? It takes far too long. There's too much bureaucracy. I know we have to reduce the red tape and speed up what we need to do around building. And that is going to require working from the federal level with the state and local government. How? How was the question? That's where she should have jumped in, Stephanie. How was the question? Stop redefining the problem. I just laid out the problem. Now you're the one who's supposed to be running with solutions. What are they? The question, madam, was how. And it's going to be different in different places, depending on the needs of that community, the needs of that local government, the needs of that municipality. But working in consultation and coordination and also around incentives that we can create. What the fuck did you just say? I'm sorry, I can't. What is that? That's not a how. There's too much bureaucracy. We have to reduce the red tape. I know I said that. Speed up what we need to do around building. I know that was built into my question. And it's going to require working from the federal level with the state and local governments. I know. How? How? It'll be different in different places, depending on the needs of the community, of the local government, of the local municipality, working in consultation and coordination, and also around incentives that we can create. What? And then, just when you think, she keeps talking, you're like, maybe she saved the best for last. Maybe she's got another tool in her arsenal. Maybe she's got another trick up her sleeve. For example, great, an example, I'll take it. Some of the work is going to be through what we do in terms of giving benefits and assistance to state and local governments. Okay, I'm waiting for it. Great. We're lots of filler, but what? Around transit dollars. What? 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 The transit dollars. That's how she's going to get rid of the red tape stopping home building. Transit dollars. And looking holistically, drink, at the connection between that and housing, and looking holistically, drink, at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state governments to actually engage in planning in a holistic, drink manner that includes prioritizing affordable housing for working people. I'm done. I'm out. I've heard enough. I can't. I object on every level I have inside of me to object. If you vote for that as president, then you deserve what you're going to get. I do not deserve it. The people who are going to vote for Trump do not deserve it. It's a calamity how dumb this person is, and that she's been placed in this position by her party, by fiat, without anybody. There are smart people in the Democrat Party. She's just not one of them. They weren't allowed to run either when he was seeking to be renominated or once he got cooed right out of office. They elevated her for all the same DEI nonsense principles. They put her in the vice presidency, not to mention the AG position, probably the Senate position, and certainly the DA position that led to this path in the first place. She's not a smart person. And that is on display every time she sits down for an interview. So I say, keep it rolling. You keep on, you go with your instincts. Yeah, you're on a roll now, post-debate. You did so well. You can do this, Kamala. You can do this. Keep talking. That's all Trump needs. You know, my family and I love our dogs. Yes, even Strudwick. Thunder makes it easy. Strudwick was challenging. Today, he broke a butter tray. That's, I think, his third. Anyway, I love him now standing. These guys have a great life, but some dogs are not so lucky. And that is why I'm so glad to tell you about Delta Rescue. It's the largest no-kill, care-for-life animal sanctuary in the world. They have rescued thousands of dogs, plus cats and horses too. They provide all the animals with shelter and safety and most of all, love. And they've been doing it now for more than 45 years. Delta Rescue relies solely on contributions to stay open. And giving can bring tax benefits to you as well. Speak with your estate planner about how you can grow your estate while helping animals in need. And check out the estate planning tab on their website to learn more. We love our Thunder and Strudwick, but would love for other dogs who need love in their lives and a home to find them. Visit deltarescue.org today to learn more. That's deltarescue.org. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.